I'm Carol Ann Ford. I played Susan in Doctor Who. And I've been listening to the Five-ish Fangirls podcast, and it's absolutely amazing. So, goodbye everybody, and it's been fun talking to you.
The tangents and squeak continue all the way to episode 195 of the Five-ish Fangirls podcast. And I'm so tired, you think I would have gone to San Diego Comic-Con. Welcome, everyone, to the 26th episode of the Five-ish Fangirls podcast. So glad you joined us. Let's start off like we do every week. We're on the virtual table and see who's joined us this week.
This is Brittany in Bethlehem.
This is Chrissy in Salt Lake City.
This is Holly from Wisconsin.
And this is Rachel in Indianapolis, Indiana. Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Oh.
Someone else wanted to say hello as well.
Yeah, say hello to whoever's phone's ringing. So, we're here. We're all here. Yay.
Yay!
Which is good, because we got a lot to talk about.
Oh, so much to talk about, right?
So much to talk about. So, this is going to be very news-centric, courtesy of Fandom Christmas. So, with that being said, and we don't really have any non-San Diego news, or news that did not come out of San Diego Comic-Con, so we are going to jump into feedback first. So, got a piece of feedback from Shalane in response to our Ant-Man and the Wasp recap. And she says, I'm having a hard time trying to figure out the whole timeline for the MCU since the 8 years later thing from Spider-Man Homecoming, which, yes, they have said that was a mistake. That was not supposed to be there. That was a whoops on Sony. So,
Someone didn't copy edit properly.
yep.
Or whatever the term would be. But that's okay.
So, just ignore that. Pretend it's not there. Close your eyes when that pops up on the screen or something.
Maybe they'll get it fixed in like the Blu-ray release or something. Or
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, maybe. She said also, she mentions the Fury's Big Week, which essentially takes place over Iron Man 2 and Thor, and a little bit of Captain America, probably, I think, just a little. Which, yeah, that you kind of have to keep, especially with Iron Man 2 and Thor, you have to keep that in your mind that they were released at separate times, but technically they take place, like, over the same week.
Yeah, it's really hard to keep all that straight because, they come out months
Apart.
apart, and
Yeah.
then you realize, oh yeah, this is the same place.
Yeah.
It's the same time as the one that came out last summer or whatever.
Yeah, it's like the movie came out 6 months ago, or 9 months ago, or a year ago. Yeah, so yeah.
Yeah.
She says, I always thought MCU movies take place now, and I'm still going to go with that, which that, for the time being, is true, for the most part, unless it says otherwise. Again, Spider-Man Homecoming being the exception. If they take place in quote-unquote current day, they take place essentially the year that they were released. Guardians Volume 2 is an exception to that, because that picks up right after the end of Guardians 1. So that is, and obviously there's like scenes that take place back in the 80s. Guardians 2 would be another exception to it doesn't take place, and in Guardians 1 doesn't even take place, well, it does take place the year that it came out. Guardians 2 takes place essentially like 3 months after the end of Guardians 1, so it still takes place the same year until you get to that post-credit scene with older Groot. So, yeah, for the most part, whatever year the movie was released, that's the year it takes place. Obviously, Captain America First Avenger, that's also an exception until you get to modern day.
Yeah.
So, The timeline, you could drive yourself a little bonkers, but... So, let's see. Let's see. She also says Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is not following much with the movie since Civil War. Yes, that's true. We'll get to that, though. So I also heard the next Spider-Man movie is going to be called Spider-Man Far From Home. Yes, thank you, Tom Holland. And they have confirmed that is the title. Big old spoiler.
He can't bring his pooch this time.
He can't. Oh. And then she was also questioning where Ant-Man and the Wasp takes place, which the very beginning of Ant-Man and the Wasp takes place at the end of the first movie, and then takes place 2 years after Civil War, because Scott's at the end of his house arrest. He's been on house arrest for 2 years, which that comes up to about a month or a couple weeks leading into Infinity War. But Scott's so busy with everything that happens in that he doesn't realize what's happening elsewhere with Infinity War. So that's easy enough to kind of hand wave, I think, away. Kevin Feige supposedly has said at some point we're going to get like a definitive timeline of the entire MCU. Like, this bit takes place this year, this month, this year. They just haven't released it yet, so.
And there's probably some spoilers involved in that, so it's...
Yeah, it's probably going to be something that is not going to be released quite yet. Well, maybe after Avengers 4. Since that'll kind of like close out like the first decade and some change. So. And that's all Shalene has to say, so. Thank you very much, Shalene, for sending in your comments and questions.
Yes.
We'll try to keep you. We'll try to keep you straight as best we can.
You're gonna have to try to keep me straight too.
Yeah, until Sony decides to screw up the timeline again.
Yes. Oh, slight detour while we're talking about Shalane's feedback. Yeah. Her birthday is on Wednesday, so I just wanted to say happy birthday early. Although she might be listening to this on her birthday, so I just wanted to say that.
Happy birthday!
Happy birthday! Hooray!
Yay! If I had one of those noisemakers, I'd blow it, but I don't. So. There we go.
For the best.
Yeah. All right, moving on to Fandom Christmas, which, considering a lot of our major franchises and our fandoms didn't have a huge presence, we still got a decent amount of stuff to talk about.
Yeah, it happens.
It's mostly trailers, and there's a few surprises that we will take apart here as we go through. And I kind of in our show notes here, I kind of clumped it together with like if there was a major franchise that had enough, I kept it in its own thing, so like Marvel and Star Wars and that, and then I cut everything else. I just kind of clumped together movie-related things and TV-related things, so, but not necessarily.
Keep thinking.
Yeah, just to kind of keep things, and I'm sure that there's going to be something that I missed, and people are going to be like, well, why didn't you talk about that? That's when you send in feedback. So, because there's just always a lot to take in from San Diego Comic-Con, and we try our best with, keeping up on the social medias and stuff, but, it tends to be a lot of the same things get repeated, so after you see the same, article tweeted out 20 times, you're like, okay, I'm moving on.
Yeah.
And you may miss something, so.
And they all say the same thing, and, same, all that. So.
Yeah, it's like, here are the 20 Easter eggs you missed in this trailer, and it's like, can we just move on?
It's like Thanks, clickbait. Go away.
Yeah. Yeah. So, that being said, let's jump into it, and let's start with the not so pleasant news that came out of because it wasn't necessarily out of San Diego, but it did affect San Diego because they ended up canceling a panel because of this. So, unless you've been living under a rock, I guess, or you just don't pay attention to Marvel. In Hollywood, over the weekend, Disney fired James Gunn from Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3.
Yeah. And
so,
at first, I will say this. Oh, go ahead, Rachel. I know.
Obviously, we're going to have commentary on this.
Yeah.
We, as this podcast, we don't get political on here for a reason. That there are podcasts out there that handle that type of conversation. So, our personal politics aside, just strictly these are the facts. James Gunn, in the early days of social media, when Twitter was a thing early on, when he was younger than he is now, this was 10 years ago, when he was early in his career, he was using Twitter as a platform to try to be edgy as a comedian. I don't know if, he was trying to channel his inner George Carlin or some of those other comedians of, a bygone era where you could pretty much say anything.
Was it?
Yeah, you could pretty much say anything and people would be like, ha ha, ooh, I can't believe he said that, ooh, it's scandalous, but nobody really got offended by it. When he was hired originally by Disney and got the job for the first, to do the first Guardians, he even brought this to light when he got this job. He realized that the opportunity to work in the MCU and work for Disney was a big opportunity, so he got ahead of it and he said, I've got these skeletons in my closet, I'm not proud of it, I've learned from my mistakes, I'm not that same person anymore. He apologized.
So he wasn't hiding it.
He wasn't hiding it. He totally owned up to it. And then he went and made 2 amazing movies. And then these tweets got dug up again. And this time around, Disney decided that they weren't having it, and they fired him. And James Gunn immediately, once again, got on social media, said, I totally owned up to this. I will give him major props for that. He didn't try to explain away or give excuses. He's like, no, that was me. I totally know what I did. I totally know what I said. It was bad. I realize it's bad. I'm not that same person anymore. I understand Disney's decision, and I'm going to move on. So he handled it with a lot more grace than some other people may have.
Yeah. I will say this. I mean, yes, he owned up to it, and that's a lot more than some people have done. And I just think lately there is a lot of I don't want to say sensitivity because that doesn't quite encapsulate it. But people are more cognizant of that kind of thing, and I will say this for myself, because when I first saw the headlines and I was like, he's fired for saying rude things on Twitter, and I'm just like, oh, come on, everyone says rude things on Twitter, and I'll laugh at crude jokes too, and maybe this is just because I'm a mom, I have a little boy, and that kind of, and I clicked on it, I was like, okay, what did he say? And I've got my little almost 1-year-old boy playing next to me, and I'm reading it, and it kind of it squicks me out, the things that he said, because it's about kids. And
I just read like 2 of them, and it was like they're bad, as far as the
Yeah.
content.
And I mean, I don't think he would actually condone such things.
Mm-mm.
I'm just there, but the thing I'm thinking of is there are a lot of this crap coming out. There's a lot of this crap coming out of Hollywood, and there's accusations and not really knowing. And I mean, I don't know. I really don't know, and I can't blame Disney for firing him. I'm kind of not happy about it because the Guardians movies are my favorite Marvel movies to date, quite honestly, and it's because of his work on them. I think that a lot of this stuff gets blown way out of proportion, but at the same time, a lot of this stuff is valid, and there's some things some accusations that have come out, not in this case, but in other cases that are like, oh wow, you really were kind of a skeevy so and so. So I don't know. I mean, maybe it is just this kind of humor is just not acceptable in the atmosphere that it's in. And anyone, let this be a lesson to you. It doesn't matter, and politics really doesn't come into this point I'm trying to make. You can, but if you tick off anybody for whatever reason, if they get mad enough, they're gonna go back and drudge stuff up out of your social media, or even 10 years ago. So just be careful what you post online.
I mean, that's the biggest takeaway from this is the internet
Yeah.
is forever.
Yeah.
If you think you've deleted it, they can find it.
Yes.
There's
Mhm. That's
archiving. There's archivings. There's screenshots. I mean, I know people who I've seen people in groups and things get so mad at somebody and like, make sure you screenshot that because we're going to go after them. And I'm just like, I don't think that's really the right way to go about things, but you're mad enough. I'm not going to get in your way because I don't want to be the one that's next, which is not a good thing for me to do, but I can't fight everybody's fires.
Yeah.
That's just the reality of it. And everyone is on a short fuse right now. That's just a fact.
Yeah.
You offend somebody and you're going to hear about it forever and ever and ever.
Yeah.
So
And hopefully maybe whoever they get to replace for James Gunn, maybe they'll let him at least consult so it'll still have the same feel.
Yeah.
I mean,
Because he had already
to
finished
write
the
it
script.
already.
The script is done. Or at least the first draft of the script is done. So whoever's going to come in is going to more than likely use his script. And I would hope that they allow him to at least consult. So, and
I mean, it would be stupid for them to throw out the script just because they fired it at this point.
Yeah. So
I kind of hope all this outrage culture, people finally get tired of it and be like, okay, this is stupid. Why are we doing this? But I'm not holding my breath.
Yeah.
People, it's easy to get angry, and it's easy to take your quote revenge on whoever you choose, and it doesn't really matter. I mean, there was some political overtones in this particular story, which we're not going to discuss, but you can tick somebody off for any reason under the sun. It doesn't have to be political.
Yeah.
Nope.
So
Anyway, I've thought a lot about this and kind of my feelings on the subject, and that's it.
Yeah. This is, other Hollywood folks that, skeletons have been pulled out of their closet, and I'm like, I don't know. I don't want to be like, well, it's not the same thing, but, at the same time, it's like...
It's just a really... With
it's
all
a
of it
slippery
coming out, people
slope
are really
is
careful
what it is,
and they're really looking out.
Yeah.
They don't want to be associated with it, which, okay, that's good.
Yeah.
Like, what is the limit? Do we...
Yeah.
What do we draw the line at?
Yeah.
Oh, and it's just like, let's get back to the golden rule. Or Thumper, if you can't see anything nice, don't say nothing at all.
Yeah, really.
The internet would be so quiet then, though.
I know.
I wouldn't mind. I wouldn't complain about that.
Yeah.
Oh, I wouldn't either. No. I would be like, like, this is great. Everyone went home and shut up.
Yeah. Yeah. So, at the end of the day, it's a business decision that Disney made, and it's their decision. It's like, you know, I could see both sides. I can't really say that, you know, I am leaning more towards one or the other. I'm disappointed at both parties for different reasons. But it's not going to stop me from giving Disney my money, and it's probably not going to stop me from going and seeing something James Gunn does, although I don't think I've ever seen anything he's made outside of Guardians of the Galaxy. So it's like he would have to make something that I would want to see in the first place. So
yeah, there's all these people that are like, oh, I'm never giving him another dollar of mine. I'm like, outside of Guardians, have you?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So.
And Disney's been through how many head honcho changes since James Gunn has been, so who knows, they might not have been in the loop that, James had already told us this, you know.
No, I think it's pretty much been the same people in charge the entire time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just wasn't.
Yeah. Well, it's when it becomes, because Disney is very PR driven, and if if something makes a big stink like this, like at the time they're like, oh, no one's going to go back and dig through 10 years of tweets, and it's like, oh yeah, somebody did. Somebody was motivated enough to do that.
Yeah.
Well,
so
there are people with a lot of time on their hands.
TV star and show, I can see, yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
So.
Enough said there.
Sure.
Yeah.
The end. But yeah, like, I mean, you know, if you make someone mad enough to motivate them to dig through your online presence, yeah. And I'm sitting here going, like, I hope I never become famous, because there's probably stuff on my Twitter or Facebook or even, LiveJournal, which I haven't been on in years, that is that could really make my life miserable.
Yeah. Exactly. So, the internet is forever. That's the moral of the story, kids. The internet is forever.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So,
just be
keep that
careful,
in mind.
guys.
Yeah.
Save it in a draft. Wait a half hour, 2 hours, next day, come back.
If you still feel the same way.
If you still feel the same way and you want to post it, then go ahead.
Yeah. Don't vent on Twitter. Just don't do it.
Yeah.
And I say this as someone who has vented on Twitter. Guilty. I'm trying not
or set up your own personal Word document that you know is not going to be saved in the cloud anymore.
Yeah.
Type your vents up there. Keep them to yourself.
Yep. They have this thing called pen and paper.
This should be common sense, but it's not.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So. Oh, well. Whatever. It's out of our hands. So, it's a disappointing situation on all fronts, but it's out of our hands. So,
Mm-hmm. We can move these soapboxes back to where they have been in storage.
yes, for now.
Yes.
So. And then we've got a handful of trailers. First of many that we'll be talking about, but these are not tied to any of our. Well, one of them's tied to one of our big fandoms, but it was the only really thing that came out of that fandom. So that and a couple of posters. So first up, we got our first look at Aquaman with the Aquaman full length, origin story Aquaman. Obviously, we've already seen Aquaman in Justice League, but a full movie with Jason Momoa as Aquaman. Which I've got a couple of friends on my Facebook feed that were very happy about this.
Oh yes, I saw many a pleased fangirl about that.
He's not my cup of tea, but more power to you. So, it looks interesting. I don't know anything about Aquaman So
I just know everyone makes fun of him,
Yeah.
but they haven't made fun of him since Jason Momoa was
That's
cast
because-
as Aquaman.
that's because he could beat you up.
Yes.
Well,
Well,
he doesn't look like the quasi 98-pound weakling version. The
Blonde with
So
orange.
for all of DC's faults regarding their movies, that one they got right. That
Yeah.
and Wonder Woman.
Yeah. So we'll see how it does at the box office. that will really be the true test.
That is true.
It would be interesting to see, you know, if Aquaman actually does like halfway decent in the box office, how much of that is due to the female fan base.
Yes.
They know how to cater to the populace, to the audience, and the audience spends money to see these things. So
Yep.
you know what? They know what they're doing.
40% of
Well,
the
right now, anyway.
approximately 40% of the attendees at San Diego Comic-Con are female, so there you go. And then we got our first trailer for another entity that I really do not know anything about, Shazam.
It's got Zach Levy in it, so
Yes.
hello.
Yeah, which it looks like it's going to be hilarious. So,
Yeah.
not knowing anything
Although,
about it, you know, I saw I've seen the trailer a couple of times. I'm like, it's a kid who has the ability to turn into a superhero, but he has no idea how to be a superhero.
Yeah. Well, my brother-in-law, we were talking about these trailers yesterday at family dinner, and he was kind of and he's read comics forever. And so he was going on about like what the premise of Shazam is, and it's it's this kid with the power of, and he listed off all these Greek gods, and all their names spell out Shazam.
Mm-hmm.
Funnily enough, but he said like his favorite storyline of Shazam is actually kind of a Superman side comic, or Superman shows up in it, and basically the kid Billy, he's a 12-year-old kid. And his best friend gets hurt in one of the bad guys, one of these criminals is doing something bad, and he gets hurt or he gets killed. We weren't sure which one. And Billy gets so upset. I mean, they arrest the guy, but he gets so upset that he turns into Shazam and he goes to the police station, like just barges in, wrecking stuff, and he's gonna beat the crap out of the guy who did this to his friend. And Superman shows up, and Superman's like, what in the world? What is going on? Because I guess Superman doesn't realize that Shazam is a 12-year-old kid in a superhero body. And then he realizes that Shazam is crying, or Superman does, and he finally just stops and says, kind of gets him to turn back into the kid. And then Superman finds the wizard who gave him all these powers. And Superman says, "Look, you gave him a superhero body, but not a superhero moral compass or something. Like you didn't teach him how to be a hero." And the wizard goes, "Well, he needs a mentor. Here you are."
Yeah.
I'm butchering the story because
Yeah.
I'm getting this secondhand, but I'm like, so there's actually some really good material for this. So hopefully it does well. And I don't know if we'll ever get Superman in it or not, but, it has potential.
Yeah. He and Batman are directly referenced in the trailer. You can't miss it.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, if he'll actually show up, I mean.
Yeah. Yeah. It's another DC property, so they can, in theory, if this is in the same universe as the DC universe we already have, which Shazam would be an interesting addition to the Justice League, considering how dark and gritty.
Well, maybe they could do with a little bit of happy,
Yeah,
lights stuff. I don't know.
yeah, maybe. So, but it looks like it could be quite entertaining. So there's that. And then the trailer that I think kind of broke the collective Potterhead fandom is we got another trailer for Fantastic Beasts: The Crimes of Grindelwald, which this is the second trailer?
Yes.
Second full-length trailer that we've gotten. Which it didn't even occur to me that we may get another trailer for this out of San Diego. So I went to watch it, and it starts with the shot of Hogwarts and that shot of Dumbledore walking down the hallway, and I'm like, well, this isn't going to be that different than the other trailers. Oh my, how I was wrong. Oh my, how I was wrong. We've got young Newt Scamander, who apparently his Bogart takes the form of a desk with a typewriter.
Yep. Doesn't really surprise me.
Yes.
And by the way, the casting with younger Newt, oh my goodness.
Yeah.
I know. I was like, is that just Eddie Redmayne, D8 or
Yeah.
something?
I have no idea. We still see a lot of the some clips that were in the previous trailer, but we've got Grindelwald like speaking to a crowd,
A lot of Grindelwald
followers, maybe?
trailer.
Who knows? We have no idea. We've got more of Newt and Dumbledore interacting, which is great. We've got Nicholas Flamel.
Mm-hmm.
I had to go back. I'm like, wait a minute, did he say Flamel?
That was
Like,
just a
dang.
raindrop in the Sorcerer's Stone.
Yeah.
Well, that was an actual character.
Well,
Yeah,
to be fair,
really.
Newt Scamander was just a name drop once.
Yeah.
Before.
That is true. That is
Yeah.
true.
It's like, we get actual Nicholas Flamel. I think the thing that I think mostly collectively broke the fandom is the shot of Dumbledore looking into the mirror of Erised and seeing Grindelwald.
Mm-hmm.
That's the thing that he desires most. I at least all the Harry Potter people that I follow, they're like, yeah, that's all I kept seeing was reposting. Is just that one shot, Dumbledore looking in the mirror, and Grindelwald's face in the reflection. And I'm like, okay, that's what we're gonna focus on. Okay. Oh, but it looks so good.
Fuzzy socks my foot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Grindelwald could be wearing socks. We just couldn't
Oh,
see
okay,
that.
yeah.
Maybe. Maybe Grindelwald stole his socks. I don't know. Maybe that's why he desires Grindelwald so much, because he took his favorite pair of socks.
Oh, my favorite hair and won't give him back.
It's like, all this time, we thought it was all about the Deathly Hallows. Really, it was just a fight over a pair of socks.
Yeah.
Who knows? We'll find out when the movie comes out. Until then, people go to YouTube, and I'm sure you can find a bazillion videos of people breaking down the trailer shot by shot. What does this mean? What does this mean? What does this mean? What does this mean? What's this reference to?
And
So,
probably about a billion different permutations of theories.
yes.
Yep.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. If there's one thing that Potter fandom does, it's analyze.
Yes. Oh, yes. That I like about we can do that now again because with the Harry Potter movies, we already had the books, so we knew mostly what was going to happen. But these, besides the main things that we knew from the book, we know nothing of what's going to happen in these movies.
Yeah.
So we can dissect and guess and be either completely right or completely wrong, and I'll be happy either way.
Yeah.
That's the
'Cause we're
fun
go-
part is, I don't know. Okay, so there's a YouTube channel I follow. It's the Game Theorists. It's, they should do the show Game Theory, and they come up with these off the wall theories about stories in certain video games. Their biggest one that they do is Five Nights at Freddy's, which I've never played it because the game itself freaks me out, but the story is kind of interesting. So they dissect and pull out all these different things, and no matter how off the wall or insignificant the detail is, they fixate on it and they get so excited about it, and it's just fun to watch them do it because I'm just like, okay, that's ridiculous, but I applaud your enthusiasm.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I can remember back in the day when the Harry Potter books were coming out, there were unauthorized guides where they break down the chapters and then predict what certain things meant and what the books are going to... I still have those floating around. It's like, I just might have to sit and reread those and see how close or how far off the wall we were.
I remember reading, I used to be part of a lot of Harry Potter forums that did that. And even fan fiction sometimes. People would write the next book. What they think is going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
And then the book would come out and they'd be like, well, that wasn't right, but still.
It was enjoyable. Or, oh man, I like that theory a lot better.
Yeah.
All I know is we're going back to Hogwarts. So.
Well, I don't know. So, is it November yet?
Yeah. Not yet. Not yet. Oh.
We're getting there.
Yep. All right, moving on to some TV-related stuff. We got a quote-unquote trailer. It's more of a sizzle reel because I don't think it doesn't really have a whole lot of new footage. It was more just a, hey, here's some of the stuff you missed, but that's what's out there right now. So, a quote-unquote trailer for Supernatural Season 14.
Yep.
Which I watched the entire thing, and I'm like, I've got so much Supernatural to watch because I don't understand most of this.
I look at 14 seasons and I'm like, never mind.
Yeah.
I can't go.
Yeah, that was, because I think they just started filming not too long ago, so they probably didn't have a whole lot to share that was in the can, or...
It's supposed to come back in October, I think. I think that's what it said. I think it comes back in October, so...
Yeah.
So... one thing to note, though, is that this season is going to be shorter than normal. It's going to only be 20 episodes instead of 23. So.
Yeah. Which makes sense, because both Jared and Jensen have young families.
Yeah, and that's what the article that I have references. It said, well, no official word has been released on the abbreviated season. Several fan theories have surfaced since then. Network president Mark Pedowitz said last summer that they would continue the show as long as Jared and Jensen wanted to continue, because of the prevailing fan theory is that while they want to continue with the show, an abbreviated season will give them more time for family. And that's things, so.
That's what even Jensen had said in one of the interviews that he did during one of the Comic-Con, the meet and greets.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And two, for a while there, while they had 23, was to make up for some of the episodes they lost during the writer's strike.
Yeah.
In season 3.
Yeah.
So.
There's that. And for those that are still watching, we got a trailer for season 2 of Star Trek Discovery. Which introduces this universe timeline, however you want to put it, their version of Captain Pike.
Yep.
So,
and I will say this: I have from my resident live-in Star Trek expert. He's very happy that Captain Pike is wearing the yellow commander uniform.
Yeah.
That's gone a long way in improving his opinion of the show.
And
these things are very important.
And former Kate Baird who is also having a role in Discovery, if memory serves.
Yes.
Yep.
Rebecca Romijn has been cast in season 2 of Star Trek Discovery, and all she did was tease that she is stepping into the shoes of a iconic role that was played by Gene Roddenberry's wife, actually. So, which, depending on how you want to look at that, the most obvious would be Nurse Chapel in the original Star Trek series.
That's probably what I'm thinking, unless, I don't know if they go the Lwaxana Troy route.
No, probably not. So, that's the most likely, just because she was, Rebecca Romijn in her Instagram post, she's like, just call me number one, and that particular character was unnamed, but she was the first officer in the pilot, the original Star Trek pilot, so. So, that is likely who she's going to be playing is Nurse Chapel, so. Although she was also a voice of the onboard computer.
Exactly.
Yes.
So we'll see if she takes on that role as well. And then according to the cast of Discovery, their version, or their universe's Spock has also been cast, but they have not announced who it is yet. So we will be getting Spock, just don't know who yet. So we'll see. For those who are actually watching, so. And Jonathan Frakes is directing an episode. He's directing episode 2.
Oh.
So.
That doesn't really surprise me.
No, he directs everything. So.
I have to say, every show I watched and he's directed an episode, I've always enjoyed those episodes. So.
Yeah. He knows his way in the director chair, I think.
Quite.
Just a little, so. There is that. Moving on to Star Wars. Resident best pal of J.J. Abrams and Easter egg, Greg Gumberg, has teased the fact that he will be returning in episode 9. So we did not see him in The Last Jedi, so therefore, if you don't see him blow up, then in theory they're still alive, I guess. So, so when he was at San Diego Comic-Con talking to Yahoo News, he didn't outright confirm, because you can't do that, because they keep these things very close to the vest. But he strongly insinuated that he would be returning by referencing his facial hair. He said, "You know what? We better return, or else my wife is going to kill me for growing a beard. I can't officially say anything, but this is getting itchy, and I'm getting itching to go over there and do it." So.
Well, that's a pretty good safe assumption then.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, but if Snap Wexley is still out there, the Resistance will greatly be happy to have him return to their ranks, because they need all the help they can get.
Yes.
Yep.
So, there is that. And then in the probably biggest totally surprise announcement to come out of Star Wars.
That nobody saw coming.
Nobody saw coming. Is Star Wars, the Clone Wars animated series, is coming back.
Yes.
So, there was a 10th anniversary celebration panel for it that included creator Dave Filoni and Ashley Eckstein, who's the voice of Ahsoka Tano. And Filoni announced that the series would return for a 7th season. And based on the trailer that they released, it is going to include the Siege of Mandalore. So, which the trailer looks really cool. I'm in the middle of season 3, so but it's not due to come back until 2019, so I've got time to finish.
I was gonna say I need a.
And I got time
and
for
Rebels.
a rewatch.
I've got time to finish Clone Wars and watch Rebels before Clone Wars comes back. But the new season is going to be 12 episodes. It's going to debut on Disney's streaming service, which is supposed to kick off fall of 2019. Nothing more concrete than that. So, but the Siege of for those unfamiliar, the Siege of Mandalore was one of the final battles of the Clone Wars when Ahsoka and Captain Rex led a battalion of clone troopers to find and remove Darth Maul from Mandalore. So. Which, if you watched, I have, like I said, I'm still working on finishing it, but I know enough of the plot that I know when Clone Wars ended, Ahsoka Tano's fate was left as like kind of a cliffhanger, but then she came back in Rebels, so this will kind of really fill in the gap of what happened to Ahsoka when the show originally ended, and then she reappears in Rebels. So, and I like in the trailer, like it even kind of gives a little nod to the fact that the show got like canceled and it's coming back as a like Anakin walks in, he's like didn't think I'd be back here. He's like, what's so important that I had to come in for this? I was like, oh.
It's like, well, let me tell you.
It's like, let me tell you, your Padawan, she's on the wrong side. You need to fix that. Moving on to Marvel for not having a Hall H presentation. Definitely got a lot of Marvel stuff to talk about. Some of it's, big, some of it not so much. So, first off, I laughed and then I cried a little when I saw this because I totally would have taken advantage of it if I had been there. Marvel.
They should have made one of these mandatory at every movie theater.
Yeah, really. So Marvel had a pop-up off-site at San Diego Comic-Con where essentially they offered therapy to fans for post-Infinity War. So you could go in and get a hug and a donut, and then there was merchandise to buy.
Well, of course there was stuff to buy.
Of course, there's
retail,
still stuff to buy.
Retail therapy.
Yeah, but still, I so totally would have taken advantage of this.
No. See, my problem, and I didn't realize this until recently, when one of the libraries I was working at this week, they were doing an afternoon matinee of Thor Ragnarok, and I realized, no, Infinity War ruined Ragnarok for me. That's what I'm really upset about.
It's like, I know what happens next.
Nullifies the ending.
Yeah. It's like Thor Ragnarok is like great, and then you get to that mid-credit scene, you're like, no, I know what's gonna happen. Like 5 minutes from now.
No.
Yep.
No.
First came to play Phoebe's mom from Old Yeller.
Yeah.
Stop.
Mm-hmm.
Out.
Go to your room and think about what you have.
No, but I saw that and I laughed, and then I was like, it's funny, but I so would have gone and taken advantage of it. Even though Infinity War comes out on digital download next week, and then I can watch it again and suffer all over again. Oh my goodness. Speaking of merchandise and stuff to spend your money on, Marvel unveiled look at the covers for an upcoming book dedicated to giving fans a behind-the-scenes look at the MCU. It's called Marvel Studios: The First 10 Years. It's a 2-book set that covers everything from Iron Man to movies that haven't been released yet. So it'll come as a special slipcase. It features characters from the MCU. The cover on the first book, which covers 2008 to 2013, has Iron Man's very first suit on it. And the second book, which covers 2014 to 2018, features the Infinity Gauntlet. It'll feature over 100 interviews of cast, producers, and directors, including folks like Chadwick Boseman, Benedict Cumberbatch, Chris Pratt, Mark Ruffalo, you name them, they're probably in there. In addition to covering the MCU's current movies, the new volumes will also feature stories from the sets of Captain Marvel and Avengers 4. So it's considered a premium collector's item and has a price tag to match. The book set will cost $150, but it's over 500 pages.
Wow.
Over 500 pages of fully colored, complete with 250 illustrations. So
stop saving now.
Yeah.
Yeah, save your pennies.
Yeah.
Or
Ask Santa for Christmas. I'm not sure exactly when it actually comes out. It
says the new books will come out May 3rd, so the same day, according to the website I'm on.
Okay. So you can go see Avengers 4 and then read the book for context. So the pictures, it looks really cool. I've got some stuff like that. I have the Harry Potter Page to Screen, which is this huge hardcover book. And then I have the Beatles anthology, which is about the same size as the Harry Potter book. So that's definitely something that I would not mind adding to my collection.
Yep.
Thank you very much.
I have that Beatles anthology one, and that is very nice.
Yes, it's a big book, though. They're neither of them are lightweight by any means. So, but they're really nice books. And this next one, I actually shared with Chauncey, and he's like, "Oh, gimme." Maybe not necessarily for the hardware, because we already have access to an Oculus Rift, but the content, gimme.
When I saw them, like, ooh, Chauncey must be drooling.
Yeah, even me, I'm like, gimme. Dropping on July 26th, there is going to be a new game called Marvel Powers United VR, which the trailer dropped during San Diego Comic-Con, obviously, and then they announced an Oculus Rift bundle that you can purchase. So the game is going to have 18 playable characters, including Spider-Man, Doctor Strange, Star-Lord, Storm, Captain America, Black Widow, Wolverine, Iceman, Hawkeye, Gamora, Thor, Rocket, Black Bolt, Captain Marvel, Hulk, Deadpool, Crystal, and Black Panther. You'll be able to battle in 10 locations, including the Sakaar Arena, the Nowhere Marketplace, Asgard, Jotunheim, the Palace of Adelan, which is from Inhumans, downtown New York, the Dark Dimension, the X-Mansion Hangar, Half-World, and Wakanda.
Holy cow!
Yes.
Jeez.
So,
What didn't they include?
yeah, really. So the
I didn't hear
trailer
anything
you can
about
watch.
a kitchen sink in there.
Yeah,
No.
yeah. So the trailer, if you watch it, it's really cool because you get into the VR, headset and you pick your character and then it matches your movements. So you can sling webs or use Wolverine's claws and stuff like that. So it doesn't say how much the game is if you already have an Oculus Rift. They just announced the bundle. Which is $3.99. That includes the game, a headset, and the controllers. So,
Which, honestly,
which the
not that
Oculus,
bad.
yeah, so the Oculus Rift could set you back that
Right.
by itself.
Considering what you're getting
Uh-huh.
for content along with the bundle, I mean, that's
Yeah, that's
not shabby.
yeah. So, I mean, if you're someone that wants to start getting into gaming in VR, that's fairly reasonable actually as a starting place. If you're like, oh, Xbox and whatever, that's so last year. VR is where it's at. There you go. Here's a place to start. So,
And if your motion sickness medicine is working.
yeah, that too. So. Let's see. And then going to the smaller screen, we got a trailer and a release date for Iron Fist Season 2. So we get get a look at what Danny Rand is up to post Defenders. He does make a few appearances in Luke Cage Season 2, so... but it's not till towards the end of the of the season, and it's not that much screen time. So this will give us a better idea of what Danny Rand has been up to post Defenders. So once again, he has to protect the New York from bad guys, and the villain this year is Typhoid Mary. Who in the comics is a telekinetic with multiple personality disorder. So, how much of that they decide to use, we'll have to wait and see. But he'll obviously have some help. Colleen Wing will be returning, and the Misty Knight from the Defenders and Luke Cage will be around too. If they're not setting up Daughters of the Dragon, then I don't know what they're doing. Seriously. No yet word whether Luke Cage will make an appearance. He might. We'll see. So we'll have to wait and see when it drops on September 7th.
Happy birthday to me.
Yep.
Right?
So, and then Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., even though they're not coming back till next year. The hype is already there. A good chunk of the team was there. Although it was really weird to see pretty much everybody except for Clark Gregg. I'm like, Coulson! But
there might have been a reason behind that with their next news item.
yeah, that could be. He's a little busy doing some other things. I would say he's busy with Captain Marvel, but they're done with primary filming, so he's probably taking a well-deserved vacation. So after going from TV to a movie set, so but first things first is Jeff Ward, who plays Deke, has been up to a series regular. So we'll be seeing a lot more of Deke
I like his
next
character,
season.
So that means that Fitz isn't dead.
Pretty much.
Good.
We could probably take that as a safe sign that Fitz... Well, the Fitz that we saw died, but they're going to successfully go get Popsicle Fitz. And Popsicle Fitz and Gemma will, make sure that the family line continues. So...
There will be no Back to the Future fading for picture.
No. As far as we know. So...
Right.
That being said, they are getting ready to go and start filming for season 6, and Clark Gregg is going to jump in the director's chair again, and he is actually going to direct the season 6 premiere episode.
Nice.
So they shared the cover sheet for the script. The episode is titled "Missing Pieces." Interpret that how you will.
Yeah, that can mean so many things.
Yes.
Honestly.
Yeah.
Considering it's coming back after Avengers 4, who knows? Yeah. And yeah, so there you go. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is coming back. I hope they find a way to save Coulson. It's just not the same without him. It's just it's so weird to see everybody.
If Coulson is gone from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., it's not really going to be worth watching.
Yeah. I mean, there's the rest of the group. They're still awesome too. I mean, I love
Coulson's,
Daisy
Coulson's
and May,
blue.
Yeah.
Mac and Yo-Yo and all of them, but and Fitzsimmons. Still have to cheer on good ship Fitzsimmons. But yeah, Coulson is kind of the glue that holds everything together. So we'll see. We'll find out next year, I guess. And then our last fandom, which I was super excited about, and I'm so glad that their Hall H panel was early into the convention, so that kind of set the high bar for the rest of the weekend. Is Doctor Who. So Doctor Who had presence at San Diego Comic-Con this year. Panel in Hall H with Jodie Whittaker, a couple of companions, Chris Chibnall. So that's exciting, and part of the brouhaha, I guess, of Doctor Who's presence is they released a welcome video that was, and I remember them putting the call out for this on social media too. Like, send us, a short video clip or your fan art or whatever to help welcome Jodie to the Doctor Who fandom. And it's really cool seeing all the different fans from all over the world with their welcome messages to Jodie. There's reaction videos to the announcement we got a year ago of Jodie's casting, with people being so excited for our new Doctor. There's a cosplayer in the video that I know.
Cool.
So I saw that, I was watching it, I'm like, wait a minute, I know that redhead. And Kai actually, I'll put a link to his video on YouTube and his Instagram as well.
Yep.
But he had made, they dropped that and then the season 11 trailer, and he did a reaction video reacting to both. And he did the welcome Jodie video first, and he's like, I did send in something, but he didn't know it had been picked. And then, he's watching, and he's like, that's me! And I'm like, I know that was you! I was like, I know that redhead! I know that redhead anyway. So, he's in the UK. He goes to, like London Comic-Con and stuff like that. And then he's got friends that cosplay, and he's really big into Harry Potter too. So, He's got a YouTube channel. He posts up vlogs of his adventures going to like London Comic Con, and they went to the Doctor Who experience before it closed and that sort of thing. So I'll make sure to link to his reaction video to that. So, and then we got a season 11 trailer, which I'm so ready for Doctor Who to come back.
I know.
Me too. Yeah, I was glad that they released the other trailer, because the little teaser thing, I was like, I wish there was more to it, because I'm like, I can't really tell, but yeah, it's looking interesting.
Yeah. And Jodie also kind of crashed her universe.
Yes, and Jodie made a surprise appearance during the Her Universe fashion show, wearing the 13th Doctor inspired clothing that will be out in stores soon. So.
That was awesome, because I was kind of watching some of it live. I'm like, oh my gosh.
Yeah. I love the Her Universe fashion show. Like, if I could not make it to anything else at San Diego Comic-Con, I would want to make sure I make it to that. Just because it's so cool. Because they show off the clothing, some of the actual clothing, merchandise that will be available for purchase down the line. Which I love the Her Universe stuff. I've got several other pieces. God bless Ashley Eckstein for founding that company, realizing that there is a severe gap in the fandom clothing industry for us girls, for us women. But then the fandom inspired competition as well, the couture competition, where people make like just these outrageous outfits inspired by whatever fandom. The three winners this year couldn't have been from more unique fandoms. There was one from Aliens, a winner from The Shape of Water. Her outfit was inspired by The Shape of Water, and then the other one was inspired by Howl's Moving Castle. So, and Jodie usually ends up wearing something just completely outrageous. And this year it was a dress completely covered in Jack Skellington Funko bobbleheads. So,
which is really cool.
Yeah, she said it weighed like 40 pounds. But that was really cool, and Jodie Whittaker and the rest of the Doctor Who crew seemed to really enjoy themselves. Doing the panel and doing the photo op thing. There's pictures of them with the cast of Brooklyn Nine-Nine. Like, well, there's a crossover we didn't know we needed.
Yep.
How soon can we get that?
Yep. And then another Doctor Who alum just happened to be at San Diego Comic-Con. Alex Kingston, a.k.a. River Song, because she is going to be in a TV series based on the Deborah Harkness series of books called The Discovery of Witches.
Yes.
Which is a very good book series. I listen to the audiobooks. So if you are interested in watching the show but want to read the books first, do it.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. I have read them.
They're great.
They're good.
Yep.
Because she even has a prequel or quasi tie-in book coming out at the beginning of next month.
Oh, okay. Because I have seen there's sort of an encyclopedia, World of All Souls is what it's called, and I've seen that on the displays at the library, and I was like, oh, I need to look through that.
Yep.
Doctor Who, still no premiere date though.
No.
Nope, I was after all that.
After all that,
we still don't know when to
Easter Saturday.
Park our behinds on the couches.
Easter Saturday.
Yeah. I am hoping it's sometime in October.
Yeah. Well, they have said that we definitely are getting a Christmas special this year. So there's that, and as we said however long ago when they did like that little event in London or somewhere with Jodie, and it's all it said was October when they showed off the new logo, and all it said was October. You know, if that's still the case, you know, we've done our speculation, and it's like, well, you know, if they want the season, you know, we know how many episodes are in the season. If they want it to go right up to Christmas without a huge gap, October, I think, October 13th, I think, is what we ended up speculating. So we'll see once we actually get a date announcement if that holds any water, I guess. So
Yep.
we shall see. Yeah.
Indeed, we shall.
That being said, that is it for Phantom Christmas for this year.
Yeah.
So kind
Feels
of
like there was a lot, but we really haven't been talking about it that long.
yeah. But this year is a bit weird, I think.
Yeah.
All things
Yeah.
considering, because there was no Marvel Hall H. You know, thankfully we got Doctor Who.
Yeah.
Otherwise,
Yeah.
we'd really be like, you know, desperate. Like, you know, man, you got any more of those trailers or teasers, you know, for stuff I'm into?
Please, sir, I'd like some more.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Please, sir, I'd like some more trailers, please. Yeah, it's kind of a quiet year, at least as far as our major fandoms are concerned.
Well, you know, some of them have ended, and some of them have gone on to be at other conventions, and
yeah. Yeah.
so it's kind of hard to say. But
Yeah, let's say,
it
because
was-
we still got New York Comic Con in
yeah,
later this year, so we may get something Marvel from that. There's Star Wars Celebration next year, so that's probably where we're going to start getting Episode 9, more Episode 9 stuff, especially considering that I don't even think they may be in pre-production for Episode 9 at this point, but I don't
so they wouldn't have had anything to share anyway.
Yeah, so it was kind of DC's year this year for Comic-Con, so which isn't necessarily a bad thing. Like I said, Shazam looks like it could be interesting. They've already said that you can expect a big presence for Wonder Woman 1984 next year. So
Well, that's good.
yep. So we got that going for us.
Yeah.
So
Let's just get caught up on a few things, I guess.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and there'll be a
Yeah.
there'll be a D23 Expo next year. So although
Right.
that'll be after Avengers 4 comes out. So factor that in however you will, I guess.
Yeah, if we're still picking our jaws up off the floor.
Yeah.
But that is all next year.
Yeah. Until then, we'll just keep watching the Doctor Who trailer.
Yeah.
Going, yes, I will be your new best friend.
Yes. And I like the fact that we're going to have a full TARDIS.
Yes.
I miss
Yeah.
those days.
I do too.
And I like the range of
Yes.
They were going to be calling them companions, so they were just calling them
No.
friends.
They're her friends. Yeah, they're not companions, so it kind of makes me wonder, are they going to be traveling full time, or are they still doing the, pick you up, go have an adventure, drop you off back home sort of thing, or I don't know.
Who knows?
But I guess we'll find out. That was kind of our speculation when they first announced the not companions casting.
Yeah.
And the cover art for stuff is awesome. And then I like the design of the new Doctor Sonic Screwdriver. It's got an organic look to it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. It does look pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
You know the one thing that we did not see in that trailer?
What didn't we see?
The TARDIS.
That's true, yes, because we haven't even seen what the
Yeah.
inside and
Nope.
Although they were putting a big emphasis on everything is new faces, new this, new that, and so it's sort of like it kind of feels like, okay, we're going to ignore stuff that we already know is going to be there, unless they decide not to do the TARDIS for some reason. I don't know.
threatening the chameleon circuit got fixed.
Maybe there
I mean,
may be like one of the
yeah.
maybe a rock or something is the TARDIS.
Yeah.
But
I
in
mean,
one of
they
those- one of those
have
scenes
to.
where she's
Yeah, I mean they have to be logically, you know, at the end of the Christmas special, you know, she falls out of the TARDIS is falling, so the TARDIS is probably going to get some damage. Yet in the in the trailer, she's like, you know, this is all new for me, new places, new new people, new times. So they're obviously visiting different planets in different time periods, so they have to be traveling somehow. And the TARDIS would make the most sense, but just the fact that we did not see the TARDIS, even from the outside, is interesting. So that didn't occur to me right away, and I'm like, we didn't see the TARDIS in this teaser, so
unless Holly's right and we did see it because they fixed the chameleon socket.
yeah.
Possibly.
That's always a possibility.
That opening, we see her startle awake from asleep, and we don't know where she.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know, is there going to be regeneration sickness? You know, how bad is it going to be?
Mm-hmm.
You know, that sort of thing.
Resist the urge to strangle.
Yeah. Hopefully not.
Mm-hmm.
We don't need any more of that. I love my doctor,
we've
but
been
no.
there, done that, got the T-shirt. It didn't
Yeah.
fit.
Yeah, doctor, take a Snickers or go take a nap.
Yeah.
You'll be good.
Yeah. I love my doctor, but that was just
Oh, I know.
the dumbest
No,
things they could have ever
got-
done.
He got better.
Yes. Thank goodness.
Anyway, so
Hopefully we'll get a couple more sneak peeks between now and
Easter Saturday.
and Easter
release date.
Yep.
Yeah, but until then, we'll keep speculating and talking, and our listeners can also send in their own speculation and theories, and anything else they saw about San Diego that we didn't necessarily talk about, but you want to talk about. Send us in some feedback if you would. Our email address is 5ishfangirls@gmail.com. You can also go to our website and sorry, my brain just went stupid. Or go to our website, which is the5ishfangirls.com. And you can find links to our social media stuff like Facebook and Instagram and YouTube, which are places you can leave comments, which can also be feedback that we will read out on the podcast. And just kind of keep up with all of our comings and goings and fandom news and things we think are interesting and that our listeners would like to see. And hopefully it'll brighten up your social media accounts. Hopefully it's, if you're still on social media.
Yeah.
Some of us have given up. Not completely, but anyway, we try to keep it positive. And also support us on Patreon or through our Amazon store or through our t-shirt shop. You can also do that all on our website. And thank you all for your support, for listening, for commenting, for your Patreon support and things like that. It's all very much appreciated, and we love having you all here and hope you enjoy what we do as well.
Mm-hmm.
So always thank you.
Absolutely.
And until next Fandom Christmas, although we will be back here next week.
Yes. Oh,
Unless anything.
yeah. Unless anything major happens, we shall sign off for this week.
This is for Abraham saying goodnight.
This is Chrissy saying goodnight from Salt Lake City.
We lost Holly.
Oh.
Holly! Did she step away?
I don't think so.
So usually she tells us that she's going to step away for a second.
Holly!
Holly!
Where did you go?
Holly! Well, if she was here, she'd say, "This is Holly from Wisconsin saying good evening." Oh my. And this is, I am Rachel from Indianapolis, Indiana, saying, I don't know, I'm tired.
Conventions will do that.
Just trying to
Even if
keep
you don't go.
just trying to keep up with this convention via social media is exhausting. Let alone attending it. So,
But we don't get con crud.
That is true. Advantage, no con crud. So, thank heavens for that. Bye, everybody. Goodbye.
You have been listening to the Five-ish Fangirls podcast. You can find more episodes and information at the5ishfangirls.com. Any and all books, movies, games, and other forms of media mentioned are owned and operated by the respective copyright holders. No copyright infringement is intended or implied. If you'd like to support the show, the best and easiest way is to leave us a rating and review on iTunes. More ratings and reviews will make it easier for others to find the show. If you wish to support us monetarily, you can do so at Patreon at patreon.com/5ishfangirlspodcast. All money goes towards fees and equipment to help keep the show going. For official Five-ish Fangirls merchandise, visit mymerch.us. We love hearing from our listeners and encourage feedback. You can email us at fiveishfangirls@gmail.com. You can also like and follow us on Facebook at facebook.com/5ishfangirls. Thank you so much for listening, and we'll see you all on the next episode.